Hello friends! Among the engines, the most reliable is the old and time-tested 1.6-liter 16-valve K4M gasoline engine. It has two versions, 106 and 114 horsepower. The fundamental difference is the absence of a gas distribution mechanism phase regulator in a less strong modification. A characteristic drawback of a more powerful unit is the premature wear of this very phase regulator. Its resource is about 100,000 kilometers. Mechanics recommend changing the phase regulator along with the timing belt for prevention purposes. Sometimes you have to deal with failed ignition coils. The rest of the engine is reliable and inexpensive to operate. It consumes no more than 11 liters per 100 kilometers. The 2-liter aspirated developed by Nissan collects good reviews. In Europe, the modification with 1.4 TSE was popular. This is a turbocharged H4J unit. It appeared under the hood of Renault Megane 3 in 2009. The motor has a distributed fuel injection and a chain-type timing drive. The 1.4 TCE doesn't cause too many problems. It's surprisingly supple, but in active driving consumes over 11 liters per 100 kilometers. During movement in a calm rhythm, the appetite drops to 7 to 8 liters. In 2012, the 1.4 TCE was replaced by another turbo engine, a 1.2 TCE, H5F. This unit received direct fuel injection and variable phases on the exhaust shafts. In the early years of production, the engine suffered from excessively high oil consumption. If there was a problem, the manufacturer changed the motor under warranty. Another drawback is the difficulty of starting and unstable speed during engine warm-up at an air temperature of about 0. Presumably, the source of troubles is low-quality fuel. At least in Western Europe, this problem does not exist. In addition, at high mileage, deposits can build up on the intake valves and in the intake manifold. The 2-liter gasoline turbo engine of the F4RT series is quite reliable and hardy. It was intended for GT and RS versions. In quiet mode, the engine consumes about 10 liters, but with active driving, all 20. Diesel modifications are very popular in Europe. The most common is equipped with a 1.5-liter 1.5 DCI turbo diesel. Only 9 versions. All of them differ in performance, from 86 to 110 horsepower and injection system. A huge plus is a fairly reliable particulate filter with a 5th fuel injector in the exhaust pipe. Therefore, the risk of oil dilution by diesel fuel is eliminated. The engine stands out for its very low fuel consumption and good performance. There are quite a few owners who have driven more than 200,000 kilometers without any comments. True, there are those who were forced to face the repair of the motor after 150,000 kilometers due to premature wear of the liners. First of all, cars equipped with a particulate filter are susceptible to defects. If you change the oil every 8 to 10,000 kilometers, then there should not be such problems. However, after 200 to 250,000 kilometers, many motorists resorted to preventive replacement of liners. Mechanics recommend updating the oil pump along the way. Fuel injectors travel over 200,000 kilometers, and the turbine can last more than 250 to 300,000 kilometers. The 1.6 DCI R9M replaced the 1.9 DCI in 2012. A chain is used instead of a timing belt. A number of new technologies have also been applied here, from DLC, diamond-like carbon, surface treatment to a solution that eliminates swirl flaps. This is done due to the combined gas distribution mechanism, when both camshafts control the intake and exhaust valves. The circuit is implemented in the same way as in the 2.0 DCI. There are many versions in Europe with a 1.9 DCI turbo diesel, a rather controversial engine. Its longevity depends on the technical condition of a particular instance and on how often the oil was changed in it. There is also premature wear of the liners. Problems can be avoided by reducing the oil change interval. In Europe, it was astronomical 30,000 kilometers. The best in the diesel lineup is the 2.0 DCI. Unlike the 1.5 DCI and the 1.9 DCI, it has a timing chain drive and an impeccable reputation. However, sometimes the exhaust gas cleaning system delivers problems. The differential pressure sensor fails, or the flexible hose connecting to the sensor loses its tightness. Engines 1.2 TCE, 1.4 TCE, 2.0 16V, 1.6 DCI, and 2.0 DCI have a timing chain drive. The remaining motors are equipped with a timing belt with a replacement interval of 120,000 kilometers or 5 years. Oil is recommended to be changed every 10,000 kilometers. In this case, SAE 5W30, ACEA A3/B3 oils should be used, and in diesel engines with a particulate filter, only C3. The 114 horsepower version of the 1.6-liter gasoline aspirated relied on a 6-speed manual transmission TL4. Unlike the 5-motor JH3, for 106 horsepower, the TL4 offers more precise gear selection. True, on the highway it is of little use. 6th gear has almost the same gear ratio as 5th. As a result, what is there? What is there? The engine develops quite high revolutions at high speed. TL4 also went to turbo engines 1.2 and 1.4 TCE. Alternatively, paired with 1.6 and 106 horsepower, a 4-speed automatic DP2/DP0, based on the AL4, was offered. Contrary to fears, it usually does not reach a thorough repair of the box, and shocks during switching as usual disappear after changing the oil and 2 solenoid valves. Sometimes people had to flush the hydraulic unit. 1.6 with 114 horsepower and the 2-liter modification were equipped exclusively with the continuously variable CVT gearbox, FK0/JF011E. The variator does not add to driving pleasure, and after 200,000 kilometers it may require repair. The 1.9 DCI was aggregated with a new 6-speed ND4 gearbox. The 150 horsepower 2.0 DCI could alternatively be paired with an AJ0 automatic from Jatco. Other versions with a return of 160 horsepower came with a manual gearbox PK4. RK4 also relied on a 2-liter gasoline turbo engine. 3-shaft 6-speed mechanics is very reliable. It was designed to replace the capricious PK6 from the Laguna 2 with 2.0 DCI, M9R. The clutch of mechanical gearboxes runs over 200 to 250,000 kilometers. In 2010, an automated EDC dual clutch transmission was offered. In service practice, it received the designation DC4 or GetRag CDC T250. The clutch resource of the robot is about 200 to 250,000 kilometers. The chassis of the third Renault Megane has decent endurance and is cheap to repair. The manufacturer used the McPherson system on the front axle and a torsion beam on the rear axle. Typical malfunctions are wear of silent blocks of levers, bushings, and stabilizer struts. Ball bearings and silent blocks of the front levers usually needed to be replaced no earlier than 80 to 120,000 kilometers. Thrust bearing problems were more common with the previous generation model. Here, it happens much less frequently. The rear suspension is pretty solid. The only surprise is the cost of rear brake discs with integrated wheel bearings. The body usually does not rust, but aesthetic defects may appear on the paintwork. Small bubbles are found near the thresholds, mainly under the rear doors. The imperfection of the paintwork is also revealed on the hood. In addition, the owners note that the varnish is very susceptible to scratches. Before buying, you should carefully inspect the windshield. In some instances, it spontaneously cracked, but this was not common. With age, the plastic bushings of the windshield wiper mechanism wear out. Minor defects include fogging of the rear lights and water ingress into the trunk through a leaky third brake light seal or rear wiper. after a while, you have to update the door opening limiters. The rollers wear out. And when replacing, cracks are found on the middle pillar of the body, in the area where the limiter is attached. The interior of the Renault Megane 3 is assembled with high quality, but the materials used are delicate and sensitive to rough contacts. Owners complain about the rapid wear of plastic and leather on the steering wheel after 80,000 to 100,000 kilometers. Sometimes the creaking of the panels is annoying. Electrical problems are encountered, for example with a chip card reader, but much less frequently than in the previous generation model. Sometimes the climate control panel, backlight and buttons, is buggy, or the heater fan resistor fails. The air conditioner may fail due to a leaky condenser. Problems with the operation of the rear lights arise due to poor contacts. A malfunction can also be caused by damage to the wiring in the protective corrugation between the trunk lid and the body. In this case, the tailgate lock also ceases to function normally. If you know of other model malfunctions, please be sure to write about it.